The film is just over a minute long, 36 meters in length, and Cole claimed it required 1,872 drawings, which is the equivalent number of frames in 36 meters of film. These were the words of Scott Curtis in his book Animation, which was published in 2019 when he was describing the 1908 film Phantasmagoria. Although the film itself turned out to only require 700 drawings to produce, it demonstrates how much work went into animation during this time period, as despite the immense amount of drawings made, it only led to a single minute of animation. Animation requires a lot of work outside of any other medium, and the number of drawings it can take in order to produce mere minutes of film is a staggering amount. It was also highly inefficient thanks to that amount. Something needed to change in order to bring animation to a more efficient model production, and our upcoming speaker is the one who laid out the groundwork for this efficient model to come. His passion for drawing, which was always with him since his youth, set the groundwork to not only innovate the animating process when it was in its infancy, but also bring it into popularity. To showcase how he's managed to achieve this, I will discuss his upbringing in regard to his artistic passion and his animation innovations alongside one of the most well-known films that display these innovations. Our speaker demonstrated these artistic talents at a young age, and his passion in pursuing it not only cemented his first job, but also introduced him to his wife. He displayed these artistic talents at a young age and pursued them throughout his life. Born in Springfield, Michigan on September 26, 1869, to his parents Robert and Janet, our speaker was an artistically minded youth who displayed great talent at a young age, principally through his ability to draw anything from memory with vivid, meticulous detail. This was motivated by not just passion, but his fascination with the act of drawing, which was claimed by him to give him a comforting sense of peace. His father, Robert, however, did not think much of his drawing talents and had him set off to Clearly Business College in order to pursue an education. However, our speaker had no interest in graduating from this school, nor did he attend classes, as he would instead head to Detroit in order to earn money with his drawing talent. His passion for art cemented his first job from that, and also allowed him to meet his wife later on. While in Detroit, our speaker would earn money by drawing portraits at a dime museum in order to showcase his drawing talent. This was his career path for a few years until he moved to Ohio, which is where he met his wife, Maud DeBorff. While he was drawing portraits in a dime museum, it is said that he ran off immediately to buy a rented suit and greet her. The two of them hit it off and eloped later in Kentucky. During his time as well working with portraits, he eventually managed to land a side job working at the Cincinnati Commercial Tribune, where he began his work in cartooning for the newspaper, which was another way to express his passion for drawing. Later on, he would get a higher paid position working for the Cincinnati Enquirer, which is where his cartooning career began that would make him famous. During his career, he would develop animations that led towards the development of celluloid animation and streamlining the animating process. He would utilize cycling in order to cut down the images needed, as animation at the time he worked in was done by hand and required an immense amount of drawings produced in order to create the animation, which was often time-consuming. Our speaker decided it was far more efficient to loop certain sets of images together in order to cut down on the drawings needed for a film, which was a time saver in animation. The best example of his utilization of cycling is in the film Gertie the Dinosaur, which, as described by Scott Curtis in his book Animation, which was published in 2019, that is, if Gertie breathes 15 times in succession, there is no need to draw that series of images over and again until 15 cycles have been reached. Instead, he will draw one cycle of her breathing pattern, then ask the photographer to repeat photographic exposure of that series 15 times. This is known as cycling and is a key method to reduce the number of images needed for animation. As he would continue to innovate and streamline animation, it will lead to celluloid animation being developed. His method for improving animation involved a process where he would utilize semi-transparent rice paper in order to trace over an image, which will allow him to make more fluid movements, which was the precursor to celluloid animation. Celluloid animation will be developed following his example that was displayed in films such as Gertie the Dinosaur. It was even purported that his own techniques were patented by another studio and that he faced a lawsuit for infringement on his own techniques. However, the accuracy of this account is unknown at this time. His animated film Gertie the Dinosaur was an animation milestone which would go on to inspire future animators. Gertie the Dinosaur was a milestone in animation and a pinnacle achievement in our speaker's career. Gertie the Dinosaur was the animation that showcased as a vaudeville performance by our speaker. He performed besides a large projection screen and with a skilled projectionist handling the film reels. He would showcase an animation of a dinosaur known as Gertie, whom he would treat as though she was a trained animal. Wielding a whip, he would give Gertie commands which she would obey at times, but when she felt too far, she would rebel against him by snapping back. This was a massive change from previous films, as personality wasn't often conveyed through a character's actions, let alone being showcased in real time for an audience. Gertie's liveliness was one of the most memorable aspects of the animation. Her breathing could showcase her mood, the way the animation was timed with its live-action performance gave it a sense of reality, and the personality displayed made Gertie a more memorable character. It was also considered unique for its time, as Scott Kurz described in animation, which was published in 2019. Gertie's fluidity of moment and the liveliness of its lines were among the first stylistic casualties of commercialized cell animation. Most animation in the 1910s looked stiff by comparison. His animation achievements would inspire future animators. Our speaker's animation work was highly acclaimed for its time. David Callahan's academic journal, Cell Animation, Mass Production, and Marginalization in the Animated Film Industry, stated that our speaker was the first American commercially significant animator, and many early animators coming after him cited him as inspiration. His accomplishments in animation also brought animation to the mainstream of entertainment at the time. Animation studios, factory line assemblies, and patented techniques drawn from his own process were utilized to make animation in a cheaper and much more efficient manner compared to his own methods. With its achievements in both animation and the innovation that he brought to the media, it's clear why our speaker is an influential figure from the infancy of animation's history. Utilizing technique that will bring about celluloid animation and showcasing how he can bring a creature to life, the aforementioned technique in Narrative Dinosaur are some of the most noteworthy achievements he has made. He has paved the road in bringing animation to the mainstream market and continues to serve as an inspiration for animators to come after. So whenever you see anything animated in the present day, you can think about how our speaker was among the first to begin animating in this medium. He produced some timeless films that showcases the achievements made both technically and theatrically, and brought into the mainstream of his time. Our speaker did this with passion for the pursuit of drawing and nothing more. Merely his passion is what inspired others to kickstart the Western animation industry. Without further ado, I introduce our speaker, Winsor McKay.